can you tell if it's...
See the button? See it's moving? See?
Mm.
So we know we have some audio going on here. So as of right now, I don't think anybody's in the chat.
And there's nobody watching.
I know, right? So, okay. Well, we'll just start and we'll see who comes. Here, let's do this. Let's hop on Facebook and we'll go on the sites and we'll say, watch us live. YouTube. Right now. If I could do. Yep. Paste. There you go. Maybe that's it.
I don't know if that'll work.
All right. Hey, one person's watching. Nope, they were, and then they're gone. So, oh well. Okay, well, we'll just get started, and it's recording, and we'll go from there.
So it'll go on afterward?
Yes, it'll be up on the Facebook page afterwards. This whole minute and a half of us, trying to figure this out. Isn't that nice? So, all right, guys, welcome to Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and I am joined today by the Mistress of Mandalore herself, Miss Lisa Locke McGahee. So, as you can tell, this is our first time doing a Facebook Live. So it's YouTube Live. Yes, sorry. Facebook Live, YouTube Live. It's all one thing, really. Aren't they? No, they're not owned by the same company. No. Anyway. So, okay, guys. So, been a while since we did a video. I figured it was a good chance to do it because we're going to talk some Star Wars. And usually when I talk Star Wars, I like to have Lisa talk with me because we can get into some pretty heated debates in regards to Star Wars. So it's going to be me, it's going to be her, and it's going to be some dogs down on the floor here. They won't have much to contribute. They won't have much to contribute, but I'm sure you will hear them. So, of course, as always, if you guys hop in, which nobody's in the chat right now, but if you do, send something in the chat, join us, talk with us, and we'll just see how this all goes. But for now, we'll go ahead and get into it. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Disney Plus series. It's been a long road to get there. So before I get to the long road, let me get a drink. The long road to Obi-Wan Kenobi. When Disney bought Lucasfilm back in 2012 and they said they were going to continue making Star Wars things, one of the things that people were clamoring for was an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. And, for years, it seemed like it was in development. People were asking for it. Ewan McGregor spent years denying any progress would be made on it until finally at D23 he got to admit, yes, we're doing Obi-Wan Kenobi, but it's going to be a series and not a movie. Now we come to find out later that it was supposed to be a movie. The financial failure of Solo kind of derailed that. And I say financial failure because Solo's a good movie. I mean, anyone who I talk to has seen Solo believes it to be a good movie.
If it had come out at a different time, I think it would have done better.
Yeah. There were other circumstances. Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. So that's really what happened. So I call it financial failure, not critical failure. Mm-hmm. Kind of derailed a few things at Lucasfilm. So that's what happened with that. So they decided make it a Disney Plus series because Disney needed stuff for their streaming service. That's what they wanted. That's what they needed. That's where it all went, and that's how we got this Obi-Wan Kenobi limited series. Like, limited series is what I'm going to say, depending on how you think it's going to happen. We'll talk about that later on. So, just to start off, how we usually do this, guys, is we're going to go through kind of our general thoughts of what we felt about this series. Open spoilers, of course. So, if you haven't seen it, we're going to talk full spoilers. So, hopefully, you're ready for that. And then what I like to do is I pull up IMDb and kind of go character to character, try to make sure we catch everything. Just helps out a little bit, or at least catch most of it. But to start off, I'm going to throw it over to Lisa because Lisa's going to share her general thoughts on the series as a whole. Of course, what stood out to you, good, bad. We'll just start from there and see where the Force takes us.
Where the Force takes us. Well, general thoughts. Overall, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't. I definitely am not like, man, they shouldn't have made that pile of crap. I think it was good. It wasn't my favorite Star Wars thing, but I enjoyed it. I think overall, I would give it thumbs up.
Yeah, and thumbs up. To me, it's, would I give it thumbs up? 1 thumb up, yes. 2 thumbs up.
You could do like Amelia and Logan.
Halfway. Yeah. Logan's always like,
our niece and nephew were always like, what?
Yeah, exactly, baby. I enjoyed what I saw. Here's what I think about the series. It came down to the word I would describe as lazy. It was like, I was telling this to our buddy Al the other day, or just earlier, and I was talking about how it had all the ingredients. It had the actors, it had the director, it had like what seemed like a solid story to go on, but every scene, it seemed kind of clunky. It seemed almost a little haphazard, like they weren't putting a lot of effort into it. They had the right scenes in there, but the way they were executed just seemed lazy in my eyes, is what it is. But they had some good stuff, some real good stuff, See,
I'm like backward of you on that. Like, I feel like I don't mind the way it was put together. I feel like the story was the part that I felt like wasn't.
No, so the general story. Okay, so let's think about the general story. General story of Obi-Wan is that he had to, rescue Leia, is really what it was, from this Inquisitor who had been hunting him and wanted to get him out of hiding. So he used Leia as bait. And once she did that, she and Vader tried to hunt him down, but really she was using this as a way to try to weaken Vader and get her chance to try to attack Vader, I guess is what you would say.
So I think that's weak story. I think making it rely on the Organas and Leia, I think that was a poor decision. Leia was cute as hell. She was adorable.
She was cute as hell,
and that little girl did a great job. But it's one of those things where I feel like Star Wars does that too often when they do these things, is they try too hard to pull in the things that to, like, they feel like that's what's going to keep you interesting, where they don't need to do that. Look at when, like, Rebels came out. Like, sure, there was an episode with Leia, and there were intermittent characters that you knew, but overall, it was a whole new group of people that they developed, and you learned to love. Like, I feel like if this had been just a story about the Inquisitors that we didn't know yet, we know Inquisitors, but there weren't, like, people, but it had been a story where it was just about Vader trying to get Obi-Wan, and then maybe have Reva's story come into it. But the fact that they pulled the Organas and Leia and tried to, like, put pieces together that didn't necessarily fit together, like, that's where I feel like there was a flaw.
I didn't mind that, because I meant, it made sense, because Obi-Wan's mission was to protect the twins, or really, to protect Luke. He was to protect Luke, and Bail was supposed to protect Leia. When Bail kind of failed, I guess you would say, that's what Obi-Wan, got pulled into it. And that's the part I'm fine with.
It's not about the fact that he called on Obi-Wan. It's the fact that they chose to make that the story. Like, it's pulling too much on people willing to be flexible with the gray area of Star Wars.
Are you talking about messing with canon? Or?
Yeah, like, it's making us, like, I'm fine with trying to find ways to finagle it in that, sure, he had this relationship with Leia and then he talked to her about her parents and etc. Like, fine. If we want to retrofit that and try to make it work, fine. But it's a stretch. You have to admit it's a stretch. And it wasn't necessary. They could have found so many other ways to get Obi-Wan and Vader and the Inquisitors. You know what I mean? Obi-Wan is the kind of person that he would have realized at some point that he needed to go and be heroic. That's just Obi-Wan.
Eventually.
Right. Eventually, sure. But it didn't have to be with Leia and the Organas. That's the part that I feel like it's you know what I'm saying, it's fine. The way it worked out is fine. I just feel like it was an unnecessary story choice that put too many things to where people are now gonna be able to say, well, sure, but
Yeah, I mean, and you know, I'll get into the way it interacted with canon later on. But like I said, though, I thought it was, you know, the endangerment of one of the twins, I felt was a good jumping off point, or a big enough event to kind of give Obi-Wan a kick in the butt to, you know, start his don't want to call it a comeback, but you know, on his way back to becoming the Obi-Wan that we come to find in Rebels and in A New Hope. So I'm going to jump straight to the end, okay? Because I had issues with the final episode. And I went off on our friend Albert a little while ago about this. So the final confrontation with Vader was a cool fight.
I liked it.
It was a cool fight. You know, it was super cool. The problem was how it ended for me. Because, okay, I'm trying to figure out how I should say this without getting too overexcited. It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened, is what I'm saying. Because remember when episode 5 ended and, you know, Reva has the little communicator and talks about how it's, you know, Vader, it's, what is it, Owen? He sees Owen, and we know that Reva's going to Owen, to Luke, or whatever. And Obi-Wan is like, okay, I feel in the Force that Luke's in danger, so I have to go to him or whatever. So we both were like, okay, well, the final episode's going to be him going to save Luke. Is what it was. But also knew that we had not had that. What Kathleen Kennedy call it? The rematch of the century is what we had. And we knew we had that in there. To me, that whole battle, that whole fight was shoved in there just for the sake of having it.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because the reason that he detoured off to do that was because otherwise they were going to destroy that ship and everyone on it, which included Leia.
I agree. But I totally get it. They were getting away. He needed to distract them. I get that part of it. But why do... No.
Well,
why did we... He got away. They got away, and they were chasing after them. I get it. But that whole thing was to set up the fight, which I get. It just... To me, it didn't seem like the story should have went that way. Like, when you look at the end of episode 5, you're like, okay, well, the episode 6 is going to be about Obi-Wan and Reva, you know, trying to save Luke. And it wasn't. It was about Vader versus Obi-Wan
that's what
again.
everybody wants.
And exactly.
Nobody cared about Reva.
That's what everyone wanted. That's not where the natural progression of the story was taking us. And with that, I come to the end of that battle, okay? Obi-Wan had Vader done. He could have taken him out like that. Okay. Now going back to Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Darth Vader, call him whatever it was, the shores of Mustafar. He thought Anakin was going to lay there and die. He loved him. He was his brother. He couldn't finish him off, but he thought he was going to die. And then, you know, in this series, Reva shares the revelation that Anakin is alive and that he did not die. Okay, so then we cut to the end of this series, of that scene where he cuts the mask. He sees his old friend in there, and it's a beautiful, like, the Obi-Wan's acting was beautiful. Loved it. The way it went down.
It reminded me very much of the Ahsoka and Vader.
I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that too. Okay, but and then what does he do? He walks away. Before, he thought his friend was going to die there. He didn't know he was alive, okay? By the time we get to that part in that battle where he could have just taken him out, knowing what Darth Vader has done, what he will do, and where Obi-Wan is in his journey to come back and be a hero and be the Jedi that he once was, okay, he let him live, which we knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to happen because Darth Vader doesn't die, okay? But if we forget about A New Hope, forget about Empire, forget about the rest of the Star Wars saga, okay? The natural progression, the common sense storytelling is like, he should have killed Vader.
Yeah, but do you really think he would have?
He should.
Okay.
Okay.
I still don't think he would have. I think it goes back to the same thing of when Ahsoka and Vader. Like, you can't. She wouldn't kill Vader. He wouldn't kill him. They still are.
With that battle,
Luke wouldn't kill him.
That
still
that
like
battle got interrupted with Ahsoka.
I know. I'm just saying. You think she would have done it? I don't think she would have. I don't think he would. I don't think that Luke would. I think you're totally. Like, I get what you're saying, but there's no way Obi-Wan would have killed him.
But
like,
okay,
there's no way.
But
there's no way.
That's okay.
That's not who Obi-Wan is.
But that's not who Obi-Wan is.
To Anakin.
To save millions of lives.
But it's
that's
Anakin. It's his brother.
No, that's not Anakin anymore. Anakin died.
Yeah.
Vader said it himself.
Yeah.
Anakin was dead.
Yeah, but still, I just don't think it. I just don't see this. I just don't think that Obi-Wan would do it.
It's one of those things. Again, a Jedi is about saving lives. And in that moment, all the lives he would have saved.
Yeah, but a Jedi is about saving all lives. Look at how they felt about when Anakin killed Dooku. It's not the Jedi way. It's not the Jedi way.
To save lives?
To kill people.
To save lives.
But they were unhappy when Anakin killed Dooku. Obi-Wan did not like that he did that. He did not think it was the right decision because it's not what a Jedi does. They don't kill just to kill. That's not you. Seriously,
he didn't kill just to kill. He was going to save lives.
But think about
no, a Jedi code is to save lives.
I get that. I'm just saying. Think about the movies. Think about what's happened in the other things. Just particularly that scene where Anakin. I mean, all the times during the Clone Wars, they weren't trying to kill they were trying to capture them. Look at how many times they could have killed Dooku, or they could have killed Grievous, or they could have killed whoever, and they didn't.
They wanted him to stand trial.
Right, exactly. They
get
didn't
that.
Because it's not the Jedi way.
Where was Vader gonna stand trial at?
It's not.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, he should have fucking killed Vader. Okay? That's where the story was taking it. But it was bogged down by the fact that he couldn't because of canon. Okay?
I disagree.
No.
I disagree with you. I 100% disagree with you.
No. Okay? I'm sorry. He should have. The story made it. The common sense was that he killed Vader.
It's not the Jedi way.
To save millions
of lives.
Way.
It's not the Jedi way.
It's not the Jedi way to save lives. Thank you.
I don't know why you keep saying that, because you know that's not what I'm saying.
Because that's the truth of it.
But it's not.
It is.
It's not. Not if you historically look back at the Jedi. It's not.
Okay.
Their mission was never to kill. It was always to protect any life, even the bad guys. That's what they always did. Go back and watch the stuff.
You and I
go back and read
different
the stuff.
Star Wars, I guess. Gee.
I guess so, but I disagree.
Okay, can you at least agree with me that that's what should have happened?
No, I don't think so. I don't agree with you.
If we can't agree on this is going to be a very long conversation.
I don't even think that, like, when the Obi-Wan and Maul fight, when he killed, I don't even think that he really wanted to.
Oh, no, that I agree. He didn't want to.
I think that's because that's how Obi-Wan is. That's who Obi-Wan is.
Okay.
Not wanting to kill. He doesn't want to kill.
He doesn't want to kill.
Right.
But to walk away, to be like, I'm going to walk away. You go kill some more people. You can go wreak havoc in the galaxy and, help blow up Alderaan and,
Because he knew that was going to happen.
I'm just saying, he knew he was going to kill more people.
I know. He did.
And he let that happen. I mean, talk about all the guilt he had before. Now what other guilt he's going to have? It common sense does not make sense. I mean, if they would have interrupted it, like if he would have the Inquisitors show up, the Grand Inquisitor shows up, or Stormtroopers show up to interrupt them, and he has to run so he doesn't get to finish Vader off, that I totally get. But to just walk away knowing he was going to kill more people,
I still don't think he would have done it.
I think that's shitty storytelling.
I still don't think he would have done it.
No.
And I think it says something about Obi-Wan's character.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So let's move on to another problem I had with this finale. So let's move to the one I have least a problem with is, okay, I'm going to talk to 2 cameos. We knew, Qui-Gon was going to come in eventually.
Oh, that was stupid.
Okay. That's what I'm going to save that one for second. My other one, of course, was at the end there where we had our Palpatine cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, Vader at this point is like, I got my probes out. I'm searching for Obi-Wan. And like, Palpatine tells him to drop it. And he does. And he's like, Obi-Wan means nothing to me now. Mm-hmm. Which I get. I get that how that scene goes. Vader wants to find Obi-Wan. Palpatine tells him, no, you need to refocus. And Vader's like, okay, fine. I'll drop it. Mm-hmm. But the way it happened was like, I will find Obi-Wan. No, you won't. Okay. It was like, I get it. And he's very subservient to Palpatine. That's the way he's supposed to be. But the way it was executed within the scene, I was like...
It was very, like,
awkward.
Yeah,
awkward.
No, I agree.
Awkward is really what it came down to. And that's, again, that's how I feel about kind of a lot of scenes where it's like, what happens in the scenes, I don't have problems with. It's how it's happening within the scene, the dialogue that's happening and all that. That's things I had problem with throughout the series sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so that was just very awkward. Moving on, I'm going to let you talk about it. I've been talking too much. Go Qui-Gon. Tell me your feelings about the Qui-Gon.
I just thought it was like an afterthought. It was very...
Exactly.
It was very unnecessary.
Exactly.
It didn't accomplish anything, and especially if this is going to be a limited series and they're not going to make more of this, then it was so wasted.
It was like at the end, he's riding off into the Tatooine sunset, and they're like, oh, yeah, we got to put a Qui-Gon cameo here. Yeah. Okay, put him right there, yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a complete waste.
And that's what I hated, because they were setting it up the whole series. The first couple episodes, he was like, Master. He kept on calling out to him. Where we knew it was coming. Mm-hmm. And even before the series started, I was like, we know we're getting Qui-Gon. Mm-hmm. Just from what we know about canon and how he was communicating with them while he was on Tatooine, we knew that was coming. But,
the way they used
it was
ridiculous.
To me, it was like, and I criticized it because I immediately, as soon as I saw it, I immediately thought of a better way to do it. And it was like when he was under the rocks. When he was under the rocks and,
like for him almost to like help him do it.
Yeah, something like finally in his moment of biggest need where, Obi-Wan had regained his connection with the Force. Mm-hmm. Qui-Gon finally reaches out to him and helps him get out. Okay?
I guess. Well, I mean, you know me, I don't like to say what I think they should have done. I'm fine with critiquing what they did do. I don't want to say what I think they should have done.
But then as soon as you have that moment, if you have that moment of Qui-Gon actually talking to him and helping him out of the rocks, then that final scene where he's riding on the camel and Qui-Gon appears, Qui-Gon wouldn't have to say anything. He just would appear, look at him, and they would both kind of walk off.
I'm not saying that that's not a good idea. I'm just saying I think it's really easy when you're criticizing a show. This is something that a lot of other people that we listen to do, and it drives me insane. It's super easy for us who are not involved with it to say, oh, they should have done this, or they should have done that, or they should have done it this way. That would have been better. Super easy for us to do that. So like, I don't want to play that game. All I'm saying is I definitely don't think that I don't like the way they did do it, but I'm not going to get in and say what I think they should have done. I won't speak.
But okay, you agree that's a better idea, right?
Yeah, I do agree that that's a better idea.
So if a schmuck like me can come up with that idea like that, how cannot a full team of writers not think of something at least that good?
Well, maybe they had something like that and that it got taken out for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't want to speak to that. I'm not, I don't want to hypothesize before things come out, whatever that, when you're always making me try to make predictions on stuff. I won't do it. I'm not doing it.
I'm just saying, it's to me, it spoke to the very end, to the very final scene. It spoke to the laziness, I think, of it. And to me, okay, again, I was talking to Albert about this, and with the whole series, to me, it was one of those things where I think Mandalorian, and I forget who, I think it was Robert Meyer Burnett or Campy or somebody was talking about kind of why the Mandalorian succeeds versus, say, the sequel trilogy and some other Star Wars stuff is that Dave Filoni and Favreau on the Mandalorian are trying to imitate what inspired Star Wars. Give it the samurai vibe, the Western vibe, the space opera vibe, where things like, say, the sequels, and I would say Obi-Wan, are trying to imitate Star Wars. And to me, the whole slashing of the mask is a prime example of how the writers were like, well, hey, this happened on Rebels. That was cool. Let's do it in live action. Why? Because most of our audience hasn't seen Rebels. And we can just copy it and get away with it.
Or it could have been the mindset that was a very impactful, powerful moment in Rebels when, even though she knew that it was Anakin, that was the moment that she really saw that it was Anakin, and this was like mirroring because they both had a very personal relationship with Anakin, and it was a similar moment for the two of them. I didn't look at that as being a lazy thing. To me, it was more like mirroring because they both had that kind of bond with him. It was a mirror moment, I thought, not a laziness.
Cool, but okay, and then there are just moments throughout, where it's like there were things like, that I saw that happened in, Force Unleashed or Jedi Fallen Order or Rebels, where it's like, to me, it's like, okay, I've seen these things in Star Wars before. I've seen these things, okay?
Yeah.
And while they seemed cool, there's no originality to it.
They do that a lot, though, with pulling stuff that's in the books because people don't, aside from us,
exactly.
don't read the books.
And I guess maybe this is just kind of just irked me a little bit. Was like, it's like the writers couldn't come up with their own original ideas, so they took from lesser known Star Wars things and been like, well, nobody played this video game, so nobody's going to know about it, so it's all right. It's the Vader slashing helmet, it was great to have that moment between the two of them. I get it.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Also gave him a reason to actually show Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Because Lord knows, I still don't know how much he was under that helmet,
I liked it a lot. I thought it was a very good scene.
I thought Ewan McGregor's performance in that scene was great. It just imitated that scene in Rebels so much to where it was like, I've seen this moment before.
They do that all the time in Star Wars, though, even from the movies. It's why one of the reasons I don't like the sequel trilogy is they try too hard to mimic things that happened already in Star Wars movies. It's like we talked about when we saw The Force Awakens. I do like The Force Awakens, but it's so similar, like in concept and flow, and like I think Star Wars just that happens. I think that happens a lot.
But I think it happens a lot lately, and I think
it happens a lot. Period.
Yeah.
Aside from the original trilogy and the prequels, I think everything else tries too hard to mimic those.
So everyone's trying to copy George, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of times they try so hard to do what they think George would do that they stop trying to do what they would do.
Yeah, stop trying to do something original.
Yeah.
Is what I agree. I'll agree with that. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Definitely.
I mean, I think in general, if you're looking for someone who's going to, build their own course, I think Filoni does an amazing job still being, in general, like in the right theme and, like doing it right in general. But I mean, not everyone's perfect, and he doesn't work in a bubble. He has to work with other people. So it's not always necessarily what he would want to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I understand that. But it's just, like I said, it just there were so many things in the series that as a Star Wars fan, I had already seen. So it's like seeing it again, it's like seeing something a second time. You don't get as much, I don't know, impact.
I didn't think it was that much. I didn't think it was as bad as you think it was.
I mean, like I said, it was a great scene.
I think that there were plenty of things that, like, sure, like you could see where where it came from. But I didn't think that there was that much stuff in it where I was all like, oh, that's an exactly thing that happened in this one. Oh, that's exactly what happened here. That's exactly what I think. Aside from the mirroring of that fight and the slashing of the helmet, except that was the only scene where I was like, that totally mirrors what happened with Ahsoka and Vader in Rebels. I mean, I don't think there was anything else where I was like overtly, oh, I've seen that before. I mean, granted, if you keep talking about that game, I didn't play that game.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That I don't know. But I didn't see that much else where I think a lot of the stuff that with Obi-Wan, like some of it reminded me of like his journey reminded me of like Kanan's journey in A New Hope. No, not New Hope.
No. What's the book?
New Dawn. New Dawn.
New Dawn.
Yeah,
close.
That book that I love so much. Yeah,
close.
like so. I mean, I did see a lot of Obi-Wan's journey mirrored.
I agree.
Kanan's
I like that.
journey
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. But I think that was just a Jedi at this time.
Yeah.
I think that was a similar journey for all Jedi.
Well, yeah, of course.
Time.
I mean, that's a very similar one to what the character goes through in Jedi Fallen Order.
Right. So
where,
I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing to mirror because it's an appropriate mirroring.
No, I'm not saying that. I loved Obi-Wan's journey in the series. I'm just talking about certain aspects that were almost things that were done, action scenes, I guess, particular, that were done exactly like I've seen before in other Star Wars.
I didn't see that.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I haven't played that game. But otherwise, I've seen all the same Star Wars as you and read all the same books as you.
Not all the comics.
Boom. But I've read all the books.
And no video games.
No, I haven't played the video games.
I'm just messing with you now. Okay, so I'm going to say this too. This is something I thought about today as well. We had 6 episodes, and they were, let's say, average 40 minutes each. Okay? Episode 4? Episode 4, I think, was completely pointless. It was like, obviously, the worst episode of the series. The only thing that happened of substance in that episode was Obi-Wan starting to get his, force powers back. Right? Where he went into the base to save Leia again. Okay, he, takes out some stormtroopers, breaks out his lightsaber, etc. Nothing of substance to me happened in that episode, in my eyes. Okay, so let's remember for a sec, and this was originally supposed to be the Obi-Wan story was supposed to be a movie. I would much rather have seen this as a movie. I think, because like say, you take that episode where nothing happened. You have 5
taken out.
Taken out. That leaves you with 5 episodes, say 40 minutes each, roughly maybe 3 hours. You cut that down to 2.5, make it tighter. I think to me, this story easily could have been a really good movie if you trim all the fat from it.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean that's the way they went from a movie to a Disney Plus series. I get it. Because at first, when they announced it was going to be a series, I was excited about it. I remember you and I talking about, cool, great, like 6 hours or whatever, instead of 2 hours. That's great. But coming out the other end now, after it's over and looking what we were presented with, I think the better route would have go to the movie. Go to the movie, it would have, like I said, trimmed the fats, tightened it up, and...
See, I think that the Leia part of the story would have made more sense in a film. I think that's probably what happened. If this was the same story they were going to do in a film, it made more sense. But then making it into a miniseries, having to have so much of the Leia story put into it, took away from different Obi-Wan journey that could have happened.
And with Leia too, it's one of those things where, again, I drive my truck and I think, so that's what happens. Okay. With Leia, one thing I was thinking about with this series is this shows that relationship between her and Obi-Wan. And to me, it's a good and a bad thing when you go back to A New Hope. Because to me, I feel like it makes her relationship stronger with Obi-Wan than the relationship Obi-Wan has with Luke, which I think is very pivotal in the original Star Wars trilogy. I mean, if you go to, Obi-Wan dies and Leia's comforting Luke about it. Leia, I feel like from what we've seen in this and A New Hope, Leia had a much deeper relationship than what Luke did.
Yeah, but Leia also had a very different upbringing than Luke.
I was going to get to that next.
Like,
yes,
she was not raised to be the kind of person that would need to be comforted.
And that's what I'm
Where
saying.
Luke was just like his dad. He was a whiny bitch. Exactly. Luke is the kind that would be all mopey and need to have a pity party. Mm-hmm. Leia's not like that.
Exactly. And that's the second half of it was, giving Leia more props. Where like first off, like I said, when this series popped up, it added more layers to that scene where it's like, Ben Kenobi, where is he? Mm-hmm. She was, my hero's here. Great. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. But, and Leia always gets that credit to where, she's here to get rescued, realizes these guys are doing a crappy job of being rescued. Yeah. She's like, all right, I'm taking over. Yeah. Into the garbage chute, Flyboy.
Yeah. I mean, that's Leia.
Exactly. And so we jump to the Obi-Wan death scene where, first off, Leia recognizes Obi-Wan, okay? And she watches him die as well, okay? But instead of Luke being like, no, and starts shooting, Leia's dialogue is, Luke, it's too late. Let's get out of here, Where it's like, again, she's part of the rebellion. She's had that upbringing of being a stronger person than what Luke has.
She's already experienced
She's already seen loss and death and all that.
And the fight.
And especially after what she just went through with her planet being blown up, and then she goes and she comforts Luke. It says, I think, so much more about her character that, yes, someone she cared about just died too. But instead of wallowing in it, she's going to move on.
Doing her thing.
Yeah, and it's like I talked to you about, I remember I talked to you about this a while ago, was the Marvel comics that take place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, where Leia in the first couple of issues are struggling to be like, look, I want to go save the man I love. Han is in trouble. I want to go save Han, but I can't. The rebellion is in shambles, okay? Yeah. I have to put my duty above my own personal, feelings and all that, and again, it just speaks to her character. Yeah. That again, she's
because Leia's the bomb.
Pretty much. Well,
just like her mom, who gets a bad rap in the films.
Something else.
Both of her moms, actually, because her mom on Alderaan is also pretty badass.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
But anyway.
Okay, so that's kind of. I think I unloaded all my normal top of the thoughts things. Anything else, before we dive into characters here? No, okay. All right. So let's start off with the number one. We're going down IMDb just to look. Obi-Wan, Ian McGregor coming back. Again, Obi-Wan's journey in this, I thought, was great. He started off as, someone who, he had lost his faith. He was down on his luck. He was all down about it, and he had to refine his faith in the galaxy.
He had to reforge his connection with the Force.
Yeah, exactly. Too. He had to find out how to be a hero again, be the man that he needed to be to continue the rest of his journey, I guess you would say. And just every step of the way, Ewan McGregor gives a great performance. No complaints about what he did. Again, to me, the failures of this series to me came down to the writing, is what it is. Because even the actors' performances,
I think they all did really well. No, exactly. I was impressed with everybody's performance.
And we'll talk about Reva next, but
except for her, she was the one I struggled with.
Well, okay, but to me, it was what she was given. Because there were parts in her performance. I know she's a good actress. I've seen her in other things. I know she's a good actress. It was the things that she was given and what I could realize she was trying to do with that material. That she's doing a good job. She's trying her best with what she was given. Oh, yeah. But some of the things she was given weren't that great.
Oh, I totally agree. Too. It reminded me of like Padme in the prequels.
Yeah, exactly.
She did a great job what she was given, but her character was just kind of
what she was given wasn't great.
No, I think it was. I agree.
Yeah, it comes down to, so when looking at, say, Deborah Chow, Deborah Chow was the director, kind of helming this whole thing. But one thing that I heard that I believe is the director's number one job is to get the best performance out of your actors. And I think if that was a rating for Deborah Chow in the series, she nailed it.
Yeah.
Because I think all the actors gave the best performance they could given the material they were given.
Yeah, I think that if I had to pick any part of it, though, where I really did not feel like the acting was very good, maybe it was what they were given to do, but was all the Inquisitors. Yeah. I was not impressed with any of them.
Yeah.
I did not like the way they did the Grand Inquisitor. I did not like the way they did Reva. I thought the fifth brother was a disaster.
He was, yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. Well, I mean, it was terrible.
And the thing I hate about those is the fact that we've seen the Grand Inquisitor and the fifth brother before.
Yeah.
So we know
they were horrible.
What they're capable of.
Oh, it was. I thought all the Inquisitors, every time they were on screen, I was like cringing.
I didn't mind what
the Grand Inquisitor was okay. Not great. Okay.
What he was in that first 2 episodes.
The fifth brother was a mess, though. Like, oh my god! Every time he talked, it was just like it. It was just. I mean, it was bad. I thought it was real bad. The Inquisitors, and like you said, maybe it is because we watched Rebels, and because we already have gotten to know the Inquisitors, and it's like when they did that very first clip, and we were like, that Grand Inquisitor looks all wrong. Yeah. You know, like we have a connection already with them in a different format. But man, I was in that other Inquisitor who didn't really do anything. I don't even know who the heck she was.
She was
the one with the little head.
Which one was she? She was. I don't even know. She was on here.
Fourth sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, her purpose in there, I don't even understand. She did almost nothing.
She was just there to have another Inquisitor.
To have another person, right? It was wasted space and time.
Yeah.
But the fifth, which I don't know that they needed. I mean, think about even like in Rebels when they had the Inquisitors, it was always the Grand Inquisitor and like. In general, 2 Inquisitors. Every once in a while, another Inquisitor would like pop in for a second. But like, I don't think that like having her there was a waste of time. But the fifth brother particularly and Reva, I don't think they were too angry.
Okay, so let's jump into Reva because I think that's very much a focal point of the entire series. You know, is Reva. Mm-hmm. I get where they started with her, right? Again, to me, it comes down to that final episode, you know, and I think it comes down to, I want to say, not really Star Wars shows, but really Disney Plus shows, because I think Marvel has this problem too of that finish line, mm-hmm. getting to that last point where it's like you have 6 episodes for starters, and then it's like you're set up, and you're like by the 5th or 6th episode, they're like, oh shit, we got to wrap this up. And it's like a race to the finish line, mm-hmm. you know, and you forget kind of all logic in my eyes as to how the story should have progressed. And you're just sprinting. You're like, oh, we don't care. Okay, we'll move that. Just go. And with Reva in that last episode, you know, to me, I understood her up to that very last episode where it was, okay, she was a youngling. She was in the temple when Order 66 happened. She saw her friends murdered by Anakin Skywalker. She survived, and she went on this quest. I don't know, what would you call it?
I don't know.
Of revenge, okay? Mm-hmm. And she used the dark side and whatever tool she had to inflict her pain, not only to try to get back at Vader, but also the Jedi, who she also blamed for
allowing him to do that.
And again, that goes back to that first episode where she's, you know, she mentions Obi-Wan in that first episode about how can we bring out Obi-Wan because she wants Obi-Wan too. And we find out in that 5th episode, again, she blames Obi-Wan as much as she blames Vader for what happened because Anakin was his Padawan. He failed Anakin. That's why Anakin went bad. So, you know, she didn't just blame Vader. She blames the Jedi as well, which makes sense to me. Why would she be hunting Jedi? Because she blames the Jedi partially for it, so she doesn't care about that either. Mm-hmm. Okay? To go after the child, why?
But I think even going back further, I just don't think Reva's story makes sense. Like, I do get having this revenge thing for Anakin, for Obi-Wan, but even like this whole like becoming, one of the Inquisitors. And I mean, I totally understand why she's harnessing the dark side. She's saw horrible things. She's angry. And obviously we know how it goes, fear leads to hate, whatever. she's
Suffering.
obviously the dark side is her jam now, and I get that. Like, I totally get that. But even about what you're saying though, hunting Jedi, because she's not just hunting like Obi-Wan level Jedi. Like that one that they found on Tatooine, that person had to be about her age.
Probably.
Which means it was another youngling that escaped at the same time as her.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense that she would kill that one or all these other random people in her revenge quest to get Vader. Like, I think becoming an Inquisitor, like giving that storyline to an Inquisitor didn't mesh with me.
I gotcha. Yeah, like it doesn't, like you said, if she was a traumatized youngling, why would she want to kill other younglings?
Right?
Which is why, she didn't kill Luke at the end, which I mean,
yeah, but just think of what all had to happen to her. I think she would have if her and Obi-Wan hadn't had that like
talk
moment there.
Yeah,
I think she totally would have killed Luke if she had found that, and you know what I mean. Like, I feel like her story arc was flawed.
Yeah.
And I do think that they just had her overact the anger. Like, it was a little intense.
It was. I think it had to do with what she was given.
Yeah, and the fifth brother, same thing. Just overkill.
Yeah,
overkill, angry.
She did the best with what she had.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
will totally not discredit the actress for that. Especially all the other crap she had to put up with.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, and I think especially it really shows how well she acted. I think that last scene on Tatooine, I think she did an amazing job. I think that was the best bit that they gave her to do, showing her inner torture, you know, seeing those flashbacks, her having to relive that pain all these years. Because surely every time she saw Vader, that was probably what was running through her head, is those flashbacks to that time on the temple.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that the emotion that she brought in that final episode was amazing. I think she did a great job. I just think that her whole story arc was kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. To me, the failure was the writing.
Yeah.
Is what it came down to for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's jump over to Leia. I think we already talked a little bit about.
She's cute as hell.
Cute as hell. And I like.
She's a tiny little thing, though.
Yeah.
You realize she's older than Nora?
Yeah. Well, our child is bigger than
she is too. I know. Nora's probably twice her size. But she's itty bitty for her age. I mean, her little hands looked like little toddler hands when she was holding Obi-Wan's hand. She's a tiny little thing.
Okay, fair enough with that.
But that fits because Carrie Fisher was a tiny little thing as well, and she's supposed to be Leia.
But yeah, I loved her in the casting. Like I said, to me, the problem was how much she was used, though.
Yeah.
How in depth they built that relationship between her and Obi-Wan. That they had a real connection, and I'm like,
I thought it was cute. I liked it.
I mean, to me, it was like, hey, let's save her, get her back to Alderaan, and then spend the rest of the series having the Inquisitors hunt Obi-Wan, but he doesn't want to go back to Tatooine because he doesn't want to lead to Luke, so he jumps around getting hunted because they already drew him out. And,
I just think they should have left the Leia thing out completely. I just don't think that's necessary.
Find another way to draw Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I just think making it about Leia and bringing in Bail and all, I just don't think it was necessary. I think it closed the window instead of making the universe bigger. It kept it too small.
Again, it was a 10-year-old kid, 10-year-old girl, but you could tell it was a 10-year-old Leia.
Oh,
because there were so many times, several moments within the series where Leia's like, into the garbage chute, flyboy. She's not going to wait around.
No.
Like in episode 5 when it's like, hey, we got to go fix this so the thing will open. She's like, all right, I'm gone.
Yeah, I got it.
She's like, I got it. Let's go. It's like she didn't ask. She just did it, and that's what Leia would do.
Oh yeah, I think they did a great job with her.
Yeah,
they totally brought the Leia.
Do you see them using her in future projects?
I don't know. I mean, I hope that I wouldn't mind if they did, but they have to do it right. We can't have any more of this. Not like if they tried to take the Leia book and make it into a thing and mess it all up. I just worry the more that they use her, the more they're gonna stomp on things that already exist.
Yeah, they're gonna try to mess with canon, so to speak. Perhaps.
I mean, she's adorable, and I think she did a great job. But I don't know that we need more young Leia.
I mean, I think, but it's nice though because of the fact that she is 10 years old. I mean, you could within the next 10 years, you could use her if you need her.
Mhm.
You know, kind of like how with
Like-
Mon Mothma.
Right.
You know, I mean, she was in, you know, a deleted scene in
Mhm.
Revenge of the Sith. They brought her back for a couple of scenes in Rogue One, and
Mhm.
then, you know, voice acting in Rebels, and now she's going to be like the second lead in Andor. You know,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
like, but they sprinkled her, they had her there and just kind of used her sparsely until
Yeah.
Andor. You know, to
Mhm.
where, so again, if they want to, which I was talking about this with Al as well. I'm like, I think they need to get out of the prequel to original trilogy era. I think they've mined that whole area enough.
It's too much. Yeah,
It's
I think
too.
it's time to
I think they're
branch out.
done. Like
Yeah.
I told them, like there's so much more between the sequels and the original now. You know, you got 30 years there,
Mhm.
and they haven't even scratched a lot of that surface
Yeah.
yet. But between
Mhm.
you know, the Clone Wars and Rebels and Bad Batch and Obi-Wan
Yeah, there's too
and all
much.
that, and all the books and everything else,
Yeah.
I think they've done that whole from prequel to original
Mhm.
trilogy pretty good.
Well, that's why I want them. That's why I'm so excited about the High Republic, the books, because I'm loving that they're going back to the past.
Which is not connected to anything. It's not connected to anything.
Right, exactly. So, like, I mean, Yoda.
It's pretty much like, yeah, they're telling completely original stories. Characters we have no idea what their fate
and
is.
it's delving back to the time at the height of the Jedi. We haven't gotten to experience that really.
Yeah, like we thought we were, you know, because in the Legends era, Luke rebuilt the Jedi Order, so we had, you know, the Jedi Order. But again, we get to the sequels. No, Luke didn't restart the Order.
Yeah.
We're still no Jedi
Right.
around.
I mean, and they've made the High Republic books. Like, there's so many cool new characters.
There are.
That they have
why are
put
you not?
in there.
Why are
like,
you not reading High Republic?
I mean, it is a little bit hard to get into sometimes because there are so many new characters. But it's like once you know, you kind of like. I wish I would make like a visual dictionary.
They kind of
for the
I
High
they
Republic.
are, aren't they?
I don't know, but I wish that they would. Like, I think they're working.
They're coming
on
out with an art book.
Yeah, I want something that like shows like pictures of, because there's so many different like new species and characters and from different planets and it's like that's why I'm not a big comic person, but that's one thing I have been enjoying. I've been reading those comics that Nora got at Celebration, and I do like that I'm actually getting to see, because I just finished.
You got to read the actual High Republic, the one that Kevin Scott does.
I know.
Because those are more mature.
I know. I just don't like comics, but
I'm just saying, if you're enjoying those, you're gonna love the actual regular series.
I know, but what I enjoy about it is being able to see the characters that I love. I still don't like reading comics, but I do like that because I finished reading Midnight Horizon. Midnight Horizon, is that what it's called?
That's the last young adult one.
Yeah, I read that one right before we went to Celebration, and those comics that Nora has is those same characters. It's Zine and all that. So I do enjoy. Anyway, I'm totally getting sidetracked, but
this is not the High Republic. This is Obi-Wan.
But my point is that I do agree that I think there's so much.
You like the High Republic because it's new.
It's new. It's something totally different, and it's Jedi being like super cool Jedi. It's like, because you have to admit the coolest part about Star Wars is the Jedi. Like when there's too many stories that don't have any Jedi, it's
because like you said, I think we talked about this before. That's what makes Star Wars special. Is the Jedi, the lightsabers, the dark side, the light side. That's what separates it from, Star Trek or Doctor Who or whatever.
Just other things that take place in
That's
space.
what makes it unique.
Yeah.
As far as from other sci-fi.
So I think that's one thing I am really enjoying about the High Republic backtrack is, and I think there's just so many opportunities during that time period to make movies and TV and stuff that takes place in that era. Isn't that Acolyte show supposed to take place?
It's supposed to be towards the tail end of the High Republic.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that. Then.
So, like, people are thinking that where we might get like a Plagueis appearance or something like that, maybe. But again.
But anyway, we are totally digressing. So
we were talking about
Obi-Wan,
Leia. Getting out of the prequel original trilogy era to something new is what it is.
I mean, there's only a couple other characters we need to talk about.
Okay,
probably
so let's jump. Hayden Christensen making his return.
Oh, blah blah blah.
As
he was hardly in it.
Darth Vader, but really, I mean, he was pretty much that flashback scene.
Yeah, he was.
Which I enjoyed that episode.
I
enjoyed the flashback episode. Mm-hmm. The way it not only set up what they were going through, the way they intercut between that and the present, and how the lesson that Anakin was supposed to learn. he didn't learn, and that's how Obi-Wan was able to beat him in the present.
Well, I think that's why every time Obi-Wan was able to beat him is because Anakin always thought he knew better.
He never learned his lesson.
He never learned
at
his
all.
lesson. No.
Mm-mm.
He had too much confidence,
And
overconfidence.
So for me too, I don't want to see a season 2 Obi-Wan.
No,
but I would like to see more Vader.
Oh yeah.
Like let's go.
I mean, come on, you have to admit, like Vader since the actual films.
Yeah.
You know, like Rogue One Vader, awesome.
Rebels,
Vader in this, awesome.
Rebels Vader.
Rebels Vader, awesome.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'll take some more Vader.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I said, what they've done with him in some of the comics written by Charles Soule were great, kind of telling his beginnings.
Oh, I did read some of the Vader comics.
Yeah, with the Charles Soule run, which you know, I told him how much I loved it when I saw him at Celebration. Was, you know, the first storyline is how he gets his red lightsaber. The second one is how he and the Emperor form the Inquisitors. Third one's how he gets his castle. You know, those are great stories to see, and you see him learning to live in the suit. You know, see him adjusting to his new way of life in the suit as well too. So, and diving into the character for that was just very, very interesting. And I think there's still plenty to mine with this character in live action,
as long as they move him away from the other characters that we know, like that book, Lords of the Sith? No, the one where he and the Emperor get like lost.
I think it's Lords of the Sith.
Dark Lords, where they crash on that planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, anyway, like
it's
that one.
Yeah.
It's basically the two of them. You don't know any of the other characters really, and I thought that was a cool. I mean, just watching them, basically both of them be badasses in a horrible way.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, I wouldn't mind more.
Yeah, more Vader live action, I think would be really cool. You know, I will say that flashback definitely, you know, gave me a little bit of a prequel feels. You know, it'd be like, aw, you know, that was really cool too. So.
Was it like aw?
Even though he still looks 40 years old and not 20.
He didn't look 40. He looked.
I'll give him 35.
Maybe 31.
No, I'll give him 33.
Anyway, he looked early 30s, I would say, in that. Definitely not like a teenager, but not like a 40-year-old.
Right. And then, meanwhile, Ewan McGregor looked perfect compared to his episode 2. You know, where it's like they put.
Ewan McGregor has been aging better than Hayden Christensen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on, Ewan McGregor is getting hotter every year. Hayden Christensen is not.
As a heterosexual male, I will agree with that.
It's
okay,
true. It's a true story. It's a true story.
I will say that.
It's like you've been seeing all these things on Facebook where it's like Obi-Wan and then what's his face who played Alec Guinness, and it's like, what the heck happened in Tatooine in those 10 years? Because how much older? But I mean, you even could find a way, I think, to explain that away, just even with the timing. Like, you think about like for example, the Golden Girls and how old they were in that show. If you had a show that took place now, women the same age, they would not look like those old ladies.
How old were those when they did
the
show?
They were not that old.
They were what, 50s probably, right?
I think so. Maybe early 60s. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Women now at that age don't look like
let's
that.
Look at, well, it's like that one thing. What was it? It was Paul Rudd is the same age that the oatmeal guy is now, you know.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's people are aging in a different way now. So you can't compare the Alec Guinness
you can't, you know,
to how Obi-Wan.
It's like people compare the lightsaber fighting. It's like, oh, how they fought in the original. Yeah, I'm like, dude, it was 1977, 76. Okay,
just be happy we're getting cooler lightsaber
Exactly. That's what it is. So.
Okay, we have a couple more.
Okay, we talked about Fifth Brother, Grand Inquisitor.
Okay.
I enjoy.
The Fifth Brother was terrible.
No, I talk about Grand Inquisitor.
Oh yeah, he was.
We skipped the Fifth Brother.
I don't think that they used the Grand Inquisitor well.
He was
out of the show. Most of the
they
time.
Still never explained how he came back.
No.
All we know is that a lightsaber to the guts
doesn't kill anybody except Qui-Gon.
Did you see that meme I shared with Qui-Gon? It's like, somebody should have checked him before they burned that body.
But I just think that they misused the Grand Inquisitor. Like, they could have done a lot more with him in that. The Fifth Brother was a mess.
Yeah.
We can just
Kumail Nanjiani as Haja.
I thought he was good.
He served his purpose, you know. I thought he was good. I I could see him popping up
Yeah.
in other stuff. You know, it's one of those things. So around episode 3, so the Star Wars show that I listen to most, Force Center, you know, they used to do their Bad Batch rewatches where they break down the episodes, and they used to do what they call Hondo Watch, where it's like, you know, we're in that era. Hondo's still around. He's a great character. You know, they're dealing with the underbelly now of the galaxy. Where's Hondo? You know, and his character Haja kind of reminded me of that a little bit, to where in episode 3 on Twitter, ever since episode 3 Obi-Wan, I was like, episode 3, still no Hondo. Episode 4, still no Hondo. Just as a joke, to be like, oh man, I mean, think how great it would be.
There was just no reason for Hondo in this.
Oh, you don't need a reason for Hondo.
I know. I'm just saying, you talking much about how they just throw shit in to throw it in. Putting Hondo in this series would have been that.
But
there's no reason for him.
If Obi-Wan needed help, Hondo could have been one to help him.
Yeah, but there was no reason to put Hondo in.
But think about it too, from a marketing standpoint too. Hondo is featured in Disney parks too. You know, it's one of those things where like even general audiences would have recognized him.
There's still no reason.
I just gave you a reason.
He's a pirate. There was no reason for a pirate.
And Obi-Wan needs to go into hiding. He needs to get hidden.
There was no reason for Hondo.
He needs to get traveled across the galaxy.
Just because you want there to be Hondo.
I always want Hondo.
There's
okay?
a reason for Hondo.
Hondo and Babu Frick need to be in every Star Wars. Okay?
Oh my God, now you're being so ridiculous.
I know I am, but okay.
Anyway, I did like Haja. I thought it was a good character. I thought, what's his name? I don't even know his name. Camille Nanjiani. Camille. Yeah. I thought he did fine. I think he did a good job.
Okay. I'm going to skip this guy and go straight to Tala.
Okay.
Who I thought was probably the best character in the series.
You know, and that's the thing about her. Like, I really liked her character. I thought it was great. But that, like, the episode that nobody liked, I didn't like it either. The one that seemed
episode
like the
4.
waste one. The one where they went into the underwater
base,
base. That episode, the only thing that episode accomplished was really, I think, solidifying our relationship with Tala.
Yeah.
Like, that was the episode, I think, where you really realized what she was doing, how she was, like, how much she was giving, where it really made it to where when she died, you really felt it.
Yeah.
I feel like without that episode, her death would not have been as impactful. As much as I do think that episode was kind of wasted. I think it reminds me a lot of how in Rebels, every once in a while when there was an episode people would complain about that it was a waste, it always came back and there was always a reason why it was there.
I remember the Purgles episode and I was like, this episode is so stupid.
But it was so necessary.
And
he was playing the long game.
And that's what Filoni
And I think that's what that episode was. It was the long game to get you to really feel how important her character was. I really, really enjoyed it.
I liked it how, you know, she started off in the Empire and she realized the Empire wasn't what she thought it was. So she got out
which I think is a lot of a lot of people. We find that in a lot of the books and a lot of other stuff too. People
what's her name? Shiva.
You're talking about from the books.
Yeah, I'm talking about the books and Battlefront.
Yeah.
What's her character's name?
I'm not gonna be able to think of it now because you're.
It's Shiva.
Stop talking. It's not Shiva.
No, but it's Shiva.
I know, but stop saying that. It's Iden Versio. See, if you just quit talking, I'd be able to
I thought of the actress's name, Gina Kavankar.
Yeah, I know the actress's name. That was
anyway.
important.
Yeah, same thing. You know.
But there's other ones too. I mean, look at Lost Stars.
I didn't finish Lost Stars.
What? It's so good.
I know you did, and I hated it. So
good.
I thought it was so teen drama boring, which of course, you know, I'm not against.
So good.
Anyway, moving on.
Anyway.
All right. The guy above him, though, Roken, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
I really liked him. I think he did a good job.
I think he started off, but then as you know, the last he was introduced in what? He's episode 4. That's what it was.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't like him in that episode, but the fact that he stuck around, like I thought he wasn't going to stick around as much, but the fact that he did stick around gave him a little more.
I thought he did a great job. I think for what his character was supposed to be, I think he did a great job.
And again, this is one of those characters that they can bring back. Yeah. I think definitely in Andor.
Yeah.
Because this is like him, helping rebellion-esque. He's with the path as they call it.
Right.
But it's kind of the same thing with the rebellion.
I mean, surely that's those people who were helping here ended up
exactly
melding
into
the rebellion.
Exactly. And Obi-Wan, that last part is like, you're a leader, you can lead, do it. And that probably gave him a little kick in the pants.
Well, and he does it in a very like non-domineering way. Like that's one thing I liked about his character. He didn't overact. He wasn't like too much. Like I felt like the way that he was kind of sedate and was perfect for the character.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. So yeah, I'm not kidding. The way it ended with this character, I could see him popping up in Andor, is what it was.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So all right, Jimmy Smith's Bail Organa.
Whatever.
Let's just talk about the Organas real quick. Because Bail's wife, what's her name? What's her name? It's Brea.
Brea, yeah.
Character I never really thought about until
the Leia book.
Leia book, yeah, Princess of Alderaan.
Well, they don't ever really talk about her.
They don't talk about her at all.
And then you learn her backstory and her history,
exactly, and
why they adopted
her.
And
I remember, I never thought about it. Then you had that book, and then you had the certain point of view and the story where her and Bail are on Alderaan when it blows up.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I got to know her in Leia, Princess of Alderaan, and then I saw her death, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
and then so seeing her again in this, live action, of course, too. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it.
And again, it's one of those things where she could possibly pop up in Andor too.
Could be. I mean, they were very involved in the rebellion.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
in a roundabout way, because they never wanted to be overtly involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why they always helped kind of discreetly.
Yeah. And going back to Leia real quick, I liked what they started with her character in those first couple episodes was when her cousin teased her, you're not a real Organa anyway. And how, they did that the first couple episodes, and then once things started, they kind of almost got rid of it, I think, really too, about, it's about found family. That's, a big theme in Star Wars is found family. And, how Obi-Wan talked to her about that in was it third episode, I believe it was. And, just that whole story arc and how, she believes, they believe she's an Organa. She just had to believe she was an Organa too.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to. And by the end, of course, she's like, if I'm going to lead, I'm going to do it my way. That cute little thing she said.
It was adorable.
It was adorable.
So adorable.
She's so adorable. But yeah, I like that part of the go along too. We'll just probably end here with Owen and Brew.
And Luke,
And Luke. Not in as much as I thought they were going to be.
I think that the parts that they had them in, though, I think were well done.
Did you see the meme I shared yesterday? Where it was like, if they could do that with an Inquisitor, with a lightsaber, just think what they were doing when those stormtroopers showed up at the farm, I mean, they obviously still died, but I bet they took quite a few stormtroopers with them. Is what it was too.
No, I thought they did a great job. I think it was really good to show just how much they cared about Luke. Like what they were willing to do for him. It wasn't just that they, reluctantly agreed to take this kid on. They like legit, like Luke was their son.
Yeah,
like
it was. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, they had him since they were a baby. You're going to raise any child like that. They're going to be your child, no matter if they're,
Not everybody would do that, though.
And not everyone would do that, but I'm just saying, I feel like
they are good people, though. I think that's what it shows.
I think it does show that, but like, to me, I mean, again, maybe because I'm a decent human being too, if you raise someone for 10 years, you're going to love them and care for them that much.
Not everybody is like that.
Which this just seems like a weird concept to me.
But it's true.
I know. It seems like
there are a lot of people who aren't like that with their own flesh and blood.
Exactly.
So it's not the expectation. It's awesome when families are like that.
I mean, I'll admit I was hoping to get more with them in this. That last episode, I think we got kind of what I wanted with them was kind of their mentality. And I love that when Brew was like, all right, I'm pulling out the guns. What guns? Yeah, I had these guns for a while. Like, I knew I had these all along. You didn't know about them.
Yeah, leave it to the woman to save the day.
Something like that. I mean, I wish we would have gotten more of them, but again, what we had, especially in that last episode, was good.
Yeah, I liked it.
It gave you that again. It gave you that sense that they really do love Luke, not just for the sake of protecting him, but they love him. So, I think everyone else is just blah 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 blah, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's done. It's over with. Yeah, I will say it's if you're looking at the Star Wars franchise, it's at my bottom half.
You're not gonna put your listing up for the
You'll-
JR
you'll-
so that JR can
So
give
we
you
can
a
see how
hard
much.
time.
I'll go and show you because I posted it the other day, but I can just bring it up and show you and remind you.
I'm sure mine is totally different than yours.
I'm sure it is. Let's go. Where's my profile here? We'll go to.
Yeah, I know
about-
my.
'cause I leave my franchise list stuff anyway. So
Oh my gosh, you're so lame.
I know my details about me. This is what you need to know about me.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
Okay, so fantastic. So okay,
I know mine is totally different.
out
than
of
yours.
18 installments, both
I do find
live action and animated.
I find it hard though to include the movies and the TV shows in one list.
Why?
Because it's very different for me. Like TV shows and movies are different.
So here's what I do. Okay, so basically I'm looking at this list and I'm like, okay, if I were to sit down right now, would I rather watch The Force Awakens or Solo? And that's how I do it. I'm like, okay, if I'm sitting right now, which would I rather watch?
See, for me, it's how much time do I have? Do I watch a movie or a show? And then I would say, but again, I have time for a movie, so I'm gonna watch.
But if I want to watch like Solo, or do I want to watch an episode of Clone Wars?
I guess
it's just how it is. So
I mean, I totally agree in your list that Book of Boba Fett, and I didn't even watch Resistance.
You didn't watch Resistance.
I tried a little bit.
I never. You know what? I don't think you'll enjoy it as much.
Yeah, but so of the considering that I would take off Resistance because I didn't.
I mean, you gotta admit at least these last four are correct.
Hold on. Where's no. You know
that
bad. This
my
one,
bad. I forgot about her love for The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi would be way to the bottom for me. Boba Fett's the total bottom for my list. Definitely the last one. Is Boba Fett. I was not.
Okay, so with Obi, like I said, if you cut my list in half, Obi-Wan's at the bottom, not the very bottom, but at the bottom half of it is what it is.
I would definitely. I mean, I would certainly take The Last Jedi.
I know you put Rogue One much higher.
Rogue One is in my top 5.
Yeah.
I love Rogue One.
I know exactly, but anyway, I'm just saying it's Obi.
I would put Mandalorian higher as well.
It's one of those things. If I were to watch Revenge of the Sith or a couple episodes of Mandalorian, which would I rather watch?
I'd watch Mandalorian. Yeah,
I would. It depends on what episodes.
Yeah,
I guess.
I would definitely put Rogue One in my top 5. I'd put Rebels in my top 5. Return of the Jedi is my favorite of the original trilogy. I love Return of the Jedi. That would be my top 5.
No, so
I would put Solo down lower.
But okay, so again, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Would you put it in the top half or bottom half? Looking at the franchise as a whole, would you? And I'm not saying where you would put it. I'm just saying top half or bottom half. She's got to count and think about this.
It'd probably still be in my bottom half, but it'd be close to the middle.
Yeah, be closer. Probably be closer to 10.
Yeah, it'd be closer to the middle because I would definitely be putting The Last Jedi down lower. Oh shit! I touched the screen. I forgot you had a touch screen.
It's also touch.
Yeah, because I would put The Last Jedi lower on the list, which would bump it up. I would put Solo lower down a little bit, not a ton lower, but I would put it lower down. I think I did like Obi-Wan better than I liked Solo.
Yeah.
Just in terms of rewatchability. I mean, I did like Solo, but
I thought, and the only reason I put Solo so high is it's so damn fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's between Lando and L3 and even, Han himself. It's so fun.
I think going back, I do like Solo more as I go through, as I learn more, because there's more books and stuff now are taking place in Corellia, so you get kind of a better
sense of Han
and about just Corellia in general. So I think it gives you. I think with a lot of these things, it's like that. With the books, just add so much to the experience.
Not just the books, but also the series as well. Every new piece of the franchise, whether it be a book or a movie or a series or whatever, just adds layers. And that's what I love about it.
Well, it's like with Rogue One. I was actually talking at Celebration. I think when I was in line for my Sam Witwer autograph, I was talking to somebody in line about the movies and stuff, and they were talking about how much they liked Rogue One. And I was asking them if they read any of the books, and they were like, "No, I've never read any of them." And I was like, "Well, if you like Rogue One, I was like, you've got to read Catalyst.
Oh my God!
And you've got to read Rebel Rising." I was like, it's going to add so much.
Like I said,
to your. But I think that's why I like Rogue One so much, is because I read Catalyst before I watched it. So even the first time I saw it, I had already read Catalyst. So I was already right in.
I'm curious. I think wasn't Catalyst the book we got my dad for his birthday? Because I know his last birthday we got
him a Thrawn.
No,
didn't you?
I think we got him the first birthday. We got him Tarkin.
Oh, right. Tarkin.
Which he said he really liked, and I think we got him Catalyst. I'll have to ask him.
I don't know, but I think anyway. I just think it just goes to show so much of Star Wars in general. You know, if you read the books and stuff, it just adds so many more layers.
It does. It does, and that's why we do this stuff. To add the layers and all that is just what it's all about.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
cool. All right. So closing the chapter on Obi-Wan, just briefly, I want to talk about what we still have to come this year as far as Star Wars viewing. We have Andor, we have Bad Batch Season 2, and we also have the Tales of the Jedi coming out.
I'm excited for all three.
Exactly, me too. And here's the good thing is too is like right now we had the thing where finally Disney Plus had two, what do I want to say, marquee shows going on at the same time with Ms. Marvel and Obi-Wan. Granted, Obi-Wan started a little sooner, and to me that was a detriment to Ms. Marvel because did I say that right? No? Okay. Anyway, you know what I was trying to say, though. What was I trying to say?
A detriment.
Detriment. There we go. See, that's why I have her around to correct my grammar. It was a detriment to Ms. Marvel because I wake up on a Wednesday morning and, everyone's so focused on Obi-Wan that I think Ms. Marvel kind of got caught, it doesn't get talked about enough, even though it's a phenomenal series. Like, I'm enjoying Ms. Marvel more than I'm enjoying Obi-Wan right now. So, maybe that Obi-Wan's over now. Ms. Marvel can shine a little more, which would be cool. But Andor comes out in August. I'm pretty sure Bad Batch comes out around the same time. Not exactly the same time, but around the same time. So it's not like we're getting a Marvel and a Star Wars show at the same time. We're going to get two Star Wars shows at the same time. Plus, Tales of the Jedi is sometime in the fall. So we might have two Star Wars shows. I don't think they're going to do 3 at a time. But I think for a while there, we're going to get, maybe I would say within for a 2-month stretch, we might get Star Wars for two series for 2 months.
Yeah. I think that having Andor and Bad Batch at the same time is not going to be
a big deal.
I think it's just two very different crowds of people.
I agree.
I mean, I just think about all the people we talked to at Celebration. There were so many people who I talked to who still just flat out refuse to watch the animated stuff. Just won't do it.
At Celebration,
there are so many people I talked to, particularly when I was waiting in line for stuff, that just were like, oh, I can't. I don't watch the cartoons. I don't watch the cartoons.
Your mom.
I don't watch the cartoon. I can't get into the cartoons. And don't even try. So, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of people who will watch Andor just because it's live action.
Yeah.
And won't even give Bad Batch a try.
Yeah, or Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah. Even though I'm more excited for Tales of the Jedi than I am for Bad Batch.
Oh, I think
Bad Batch is going to be good. I think what they're doing with Omega looks like it's going to be awesome this season, but I'm way more excited for Tales of the Jedi than I am for
You're
Bad
going to, given I saw the trailer and I saw the first episode, I think you're going to love Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, I'm real excited for it.
I'm really excited.
I am also very excited for Andor, though. I mean, I really liked, Cassian, and I love K2SO. He's my favorite droid.
Yeah, but he's not going to be in the first season, though.
Oh, damn it.
They're going to wait for the second season.
Well, either way, at some point I'll get more of him because I love K2SO.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, people have been coming in and out. We've had 1 or 2 people that hang with us. This one person's been here for a while, so whoever you are, thank you for hanging with us. This will be up on YouTube, of course, so people can watch it.
We should just do this more often.
Huh?
We should do this
more live?
Often. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I told you, I think it'd be better than if you keep doing them That's why you stopped pre-recording them. I think.
I quit pre-recording because I didn't have anyone to sit down and talk stuff with.
Right,
I brought you in on Star Wars because I know we could have a good Star Wars rapport. If I bring you in on, I don't know, Black Adam,
I don't watch
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that's why.
You do not want to bring me in on anything that has to do with DC.
Exactly. That,
Hard pass.
I mean, Marvel probably would be pretty good.
Yeah, I like
I'd rather bring JR in on Marvel. That'd be fun.
That'd be really
fun too. Exactly. I stopped doing the videos because I couldn't have anyone. Yeah. I don't like just sitting here talking. I think I'm bad at that, actually.
Anyway.
But if I have someone here to talk with, I think it's much better, which is why it's Star Wars. I know we both have a lot to say about it. So that's why I decided to do the video.
Okay.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you can fire back on the social media accounts, of course, YouTube here, or anywhere else you can find Dayspring discussions. That's it. Let us know what you think of Obi-Wan. Until next time, may the Force be with us all.